A couple of days ago, this was released in the New York Times, 1st of May. So a couple of days ago, the Godfather of AI leaves Google and warns of danger ahead. For half a century, Geoffrey Hinton, the Godfather, nurtured the technology at the heart of chatbots like ChatGPT. Now he worries it will cause serious harm. So let's take a look at it. I actually haven't read the article. I listened to this thing here. It was 17 minutes long. It was pretty interesting. But damn, like they need to buy a better mic. Like the New York Times, like I had to buy to get this article, and they gave him like a shitty microphone. You can barely hear what he's saying. Anyways, anyways. So Geoffrey Hinton was an artificial intelligence pioneer in 2012. By the way, like imagine like how much he had to go through, sort of with all the failures that AI sort of took, and all the backlash, and he still believed that it would work, and he was right. It's actually really fascinating story. So in 2012, Dr. Hinton and two of his graduate students at the University of Toronto created technology that became the intellectual foundation for the AI system that tech industry's biggest companies believe is a key to their future. But on Monday, he officially joined a growing chorus of critics who say those companies are racing towards danger with their aggressive campaign to create products based on generative artificial intelligence, the technology that powers popular chatbots like ChatGPT. You know, like obviously there are dangers to this, right? I mean, GPT-4, for example, knows so much more than I do. Uh, it has a lot of powerful ability that it can do, and there are definitely dangers to this, right? So, I mean, it is warranted that we should be reflecting over this and sort of thinking. But let's see what is actually being said here. Dr. Hinton said that he quit his job at Google, where he has worked for more than a decade and became one of the most respected voices in the field. He quit his job so he can freely speak about the risks of AI. A part of him, he says, now regrets his life's work. I console myself with the normal excuse. If I hadn't done it, somebody else would have. And that, okay, that sounds like really dark, right? Dr. Hinton said during a lengthy interview last week in the dining room of his home in Toronto, a short walk from where he and his students made their breakthrough. Yeah, I feel like that's a really dark picture to have, or sort of that. Maybe he's right. I don't know, but I sort of think back also for God, forget his name. The YOLO V3. The one, or the guy that created YOLO. Like, what was YOLO V3 paper? Joseph Redmond. He also, I listened to his TED talk, and there was a similar thing there where he saw how his, the YOLO method, YOLO algorithm was used for drones and sort of in the military, and tracking different types of people and so on, and being used for really bad things. And I think he imagined that it would be used for, or he was hoping that it would be used for tracking zebras at the zoo or something, and that was not the only way that people used it. And this is a reality. Like, how people use it is not only going to be good, or what you deem to be good, at least. And maybe that's what Geoffrey has come across, because he has changed his perspective a lot. So I don't know exactly what sort of experience he has been through. It would be interesting to see if he actually says, because this feels really dark. If I hadn't done it, somebody else would have. All right, let's continue. Dr. Hinton's journey from AI groundbreaker to doomsayer marks a remarkable moment for the technology industry at perhaps its most important inflection point in decades. Industry leaders believe the new AI systems could be as important as the introduction of the web browser in the early 1990s, and could lead to breakthroughs in areas ranging from drug research to education. but gnawing at many industry insiders is a fear that they are releasing something dangerous into the wild. Generative AI can already be a tool for misinformation. Soon, it could be a risk to jobs. Somewhere down the line, tech's biggest warriors say it could be a risk to humanity. It's hard to see how you can prevent the bad actors from using it for bad things. And I would imagine there's some experience that he has, he's become more aware of the negative impact of this technology and how bad people are using it. But it, and there are real risks as well. We're gonna, a lot of jobs are gonna be changed as a result of AI. There's no doubt about that, and the societal change of that is real, and we will have to change, right? But fundamentally, what we're doing is we are hopefully going to be able to automate a lot of jobs that people really shouldn't do. Like, it's an insult to humanity that we are doing a lot of the things that we're doing, uh, really repetitive things that don't stimulate us at all. And to me, at least, this is why I got into machine learning, to sort of want to automate those things. And obviously, it's a wish that the people that are working with it now are actually gonna be able to still have a living and so on, make a living when we automate those jobs. And that's a societal thing that we need to fix. But the job that is being done, I feel like people can be doing so much better things in many uh, things, right? And obviously, if you want to do it, then do it. But there should be a choice in many of those things. So to me, that's sort of why I got into it. I wanted to uh, help free up human time to spend on more creative things and what people want to do. So that's one of the inspiring things for me with AI. But there's definitely problems with that. I would be really interested to hear about what these bad actors are, or sort of what the bad things he sees are. Like, there are definitely bad things it's being used for, and the military might be one of those examples. But what exactly did change his mind? I don't know. Maybe we will get to that. After the San Francisco startup OpenAI released a new version of ChatGPT, more than 1,000 technology leaders and researchers signed an open letter calling for a 6-month moratorium on the development of new systems because AI technologies pose profound risks to society and humanity. I would agree with that. Several days later, 19 current and former leaders of the Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence, a 40-year-old academic society, released their own letter warning of the risks of AI. That group included Eric Horvitz, chief scientific officer at Microsoft, which has deployed OpenAI's technology across a wide range of products, including its Bing search engine. Dr. Hinton, often called the Godfather of AI, did not sign either of those letters and said he did not want to publicly criticize Google or other companies until he had quit his job. He notified the company last month when he was resigning, and on Thursday he talked by phone with Sundar Pichai, the chief executive of Google's parent company, Alphabet. He declined to publicly discuss the details of his conversation. Jeff Dean, Google's chief scientist, said in a statement, "We remain committed to a responsible approach to AI. We're continually learning to understand emerging risks while also innovating boldly." Yeah, so there's nothing really, this makes sense. AI does pose profound risks. And it would be like, maybe it's a pretty long article. Let's just see what, let's just skim and see if there's some like more of the important, because these are just like neural networks and his okay, here he says, okay, Dr. Hinton is deeply opposed to the use of artificial intelligence on the battlefield, what he calls robot soldiers. Maybe that's maybe it was similar to Joseph. Like, he had some insight into how it was being used in the military, and impacting a lot of lives in a very negative way. Maybe though it is also losing the sort of the positive parts of it. I don't. I feel like this is a very dark view in the tone in this article. But let's see. I mean, people are scared, so doing this kind of an article is gonna have a lot of attention and is gonna spike the interest of a lot of people, right? Rather than him saying how cool it will be to use AI in healthcare or something, right? This is a more impactful article. All right, so then he says here, then last year, as Google and OpenAI built systems using much larger amounts of data, his view changed. He still believed the systems were inferior to the human brain in some ways, but he thought they were eclipsing human intelligence in others. Maybe what is going on in these systems, he said, is actually a lot better than what is going on in the brain. Hmm. Well, it seems like the system, the biological system that we have, is inherently incredibly slow at information processing. So if you can have in computers, these things are fast. It can process more information, uh, but to call them better at this point seems, yeah, I mean they're better in some ways, but the next word prediction of ChatGPT don't seem like AGI to me. Um, but I mean Geoffrey is obviously he must have some pretty insightful things into how he views these things. Uh, so let's see. As companies improve their AI systems, he believes they become increasingly dangerous. Look at how it was 5 years ago and how it is now. Take the difference and propagate it forward. That's scary. Yeah, for sure, that's scary. And I don't know. To me, I don't know. This might be wrong, but I'm thinking there have been revolutionary uh, times in the past, and society has advanced as a result, and we have adapted. And there's still hope that we can do that with AI. But the insane development is really scary, and people like Elon, or listen to Max Tegmark as well, and Lex Friedman. I do think that we should really reflect and maybe have some type of way of making sure that what we're developing is safe to release. I feel like we're sort of releasing it, and basically people are checking what they can do with it, but maybe we should start reflecting over that. His immediate concern is that the internet will be flooded with false photos, videos, and text, and that the average person will not be able to know what is true anymore. This is very interesting. He's also worried that AI technologies will in time upend the job market. Today, chatbots like ChatGPT tend to complete human workers, but they could replace paralegals, personal assistants, translators, and others who handle rote tasks. It takes away the drudge work, he said. It might take away more than that. Down the road, he is worried that the future versions of technology pose a threat to humanity because they often learn unexpected behavior from the vast amounts of data they analyze. This becomes an issue, he said, as individuals and companies allow AI systems not only to generate their own computer code, but actually run that code on their own. And he fears a day when truly autonomous weapons, those killer robots, become reality. The idea that this stuff could actually get smarter than people, a few people believe that, he said, but most people thought it was way off, and I thought it was way off. I thought it was 30 to 50 years or even longer. Obviously, I no longer think that. Many other experts, including many of his students and colleagues, says that this threat is hypothetical. But Dr. Hinton believes that the race between Google and Microsoft and others will escalate into a global race that will not stop with some sort of global regulation. And this is interesting. Like this is what has been proposed before, regulation, but there needs to be, first of all, like who should be the regulators of this, and what are the principles behind the regulation. Um, but yeah, there should be some regulation. There regulation for everything. Elon said basically how building, like, no, you can't just build a car. You need to go through a lot of regulatory agencies and building a rocket and so on. And it seems like building GPT-5, it should probably go through some regulation, right, before it's being released and sort of, here you go, here's an API, try it out. But that may be impossible, he said. Unlike with nuclear weapons, there is no way of knowing whether companies or countries are working on the technology in secret. The best hope is for the world's leading scientists to collaborate on ways on controlling the technology. I don't think they should scale this up more until they have understood whether they can control it, he said. Dr. Hinton said that when people used to ask him how he could work on the technology that was potentially dangerous, he would paraphrase Robert Oppenheimer, who led the US effort to build the atomic bomb. When you see something that is technologically sweet, you go ahead and do it. All right. So, I mean, I think this needs context, of the background to Oppenheimer when he built the atomic bomb. I feel like there was a lot of things going on in society at that time that sort of pressured a lot of scientists to build the atomic bomb as well. And so it might be different than Hinton. I don't know. But, when he says that, he saw something technically sweet, you go ahead and do it. And they say he does not say that anymore. This feels really sad to me because that's I would not. I don't think. Well, I don't know, but hopefully he also saw the potential and the positive impacts that it could have, and maybe he has sort of been. I don't know, just seen a lot of the negative impacts lately, and is scared of that overtaking the positives, and that's has been true in many cases in history and is definitely true now, but it does not seem like that's the only outcome, right? We should be definitely cognizant and aware, and we should try to see how we can set up better defense. Sort of, maybe GPT-4 recursively calling itself and trying out things, and all of these things are fine. But the fact that we're able to experiment like that this easily might be a warning signal for the future. And I think honestly, like, the biggest thing we should worry about is what happens when we automate jobs. How will we replace? Sort of what will happen to the people whose jobs will be replaced? That to me seems like a bigger issue right now, and yeah, but it's very interesting to see this. Maybe we are all wrong in this. That what we're building is horrible. I don't believe that, but it definitely is scary when it is phrased like this. And I don't know. Like, this does not seem true. I don't think that's the only reason he built it, and I think the fact that it was in this paraphrasing Robert Oppenheimer with the atomic bomb equivalents. I don't know. What is it that fundamentally is dangerous? Like, what can we talk about specifically? What's dangerous? Because this just feels like, yeah, we should be scared, but let's talk about the actual issues. What are the actual problems? To me, it seems like job replacement is the one of the most immediate things, but then what's actually the risks? So we should talk about what those are. We should set up principles on how it should be regulated, if there should be a regulation against it, and specifically, what those risks are, because I feel like that's missing here. It's sort of just a feeling of how it can be bad, what the actual risks are. Because I mean, the general thing, right, is AGI, or sort of reaching human level intelligence. And a lot of people feel that, ChatGPT, GPT-4 is on human level intelligence, and it is in some very specific things, but it's definitely not. I mean, it's a next word prediction problem. Like, let's be honest, that next word prediction problem is impossible that it's going to lead to that it itself will take over in some way. That to me seems impossible. But that people can use it in a bad way, that will be true. That it's very powerful and people can use it in very, very bad ways, obviously. You know, people can use a lot of different things in a bad and a good way. Like there are tons of different tools that can be used for good and bad things. You know, it's, to me that seems to be generally true. All right, let me know what you think. That's it for this video.